Hey everyone, welcome back once again to Mark and Mark as we finish chapter 1. Hope lockdown's going well. Hope you're working on your lockdown haircut. Here we are. We're in verse 40 of Mark chapter 1. It says, "Then a man with a serious skin disease came to him and on his knees begged him, 'If you are willing, you can make me clean.'" The idea of this cleanness is not just that he would be healed of his skin illness, but when you had this kind of serious skin thing, it meant that you were excluded from the society, excluded from your family, excluded from being allowed to come and worship God in the temple. You were totally, fully an outsider and kind of excommunicated from everything. No one could touch you or talk to you or be near you or anything. And so he wants to be clean. And then it says, verse 41, that Jesus was moved with compassion. And the kind of idea here also might be that Jesus is a bit angry as well. He's moved with compassion, but he's a bit angry. And the reason why he's angry isn't at this man. The man hasn't done anything wrong. The reason why Jesus might be a bit angry, a bit indignant, is at the effects of the fallen world in which we live, that there is such things as diseases and viruses and things that make humans suffer. And so he's moved with compassion and he reached out his hand and touched him. Now that is a huge moment. This man has an infectious skin thing. And the idea was you weren't allowed to touch people like that. Because the idea was, so you were clean, and then the other person was unclean. And it was as though the uncleanness was stronger than the cleanness. And if you touched an unclean person, you would become unclean as well. And it'd be like that. But here, Jesus reaches out his hand and touches the unclean man. And he says to him, "I am willing, be made clean." And it says immediately and immediately, classic Mark, the disease left him and he was healed. And so it's as though, unlike normally where the uncleanness is more powerful than the cleanness, for Jesus, it's the other way around, where his cleanness makes the unclean person clean. And then it says in verse 43, "Then he sternly warned him and sent him away, telling him, 'See that you say nothing to anyone.'" This is that thing we talked about last time, the messianic secret. But he says to the man, "Go and show yourself to the priest and offer what Moses prescribed for your cleansing as a testimony to them." What he probably means here is it's not just that the man needs to be made clean, healed of his skin issue. What he needs to do is to be back into society. He needs to be allowed back in to see people, hug people, touch people, talk to people, go back to temple, all that kind of stuff. And the ones who could allow him to do that were the priests. And so Jesus has given this man his life back, his relationships back. And so verse 45, yet the man, so excited, you can imagine, he goes out and began to proclaim it widely and to spread the news. And it's not like he did necessarily the wrong thing. Jesus told him not to, but man, you can't imagine just not being so excited. And so he does. And the result is that Jesus could no longer enter a town openly. And the idea is not that he wasn't able to, physically able to. The idea is Jesus wants to control the message about himself. If people start to get the idea that he's the Messiah, they'll get it wrong. They'll think he's the king who's come to conquer, roam and ride a battle horse and kick heads. And so he doesn't want that kind of crowd. He doesn't want that kind of influence. He doesn't want that kind of thinking. And so he doesn't enter towns openly, but instead he's out in the deserted places. But they would still come to him from everywhere. Jesus is becoming a bit of a celebrity, you know. His fame is growing, and he is trying to keep it a secret so that he can reveal who he is, like what we already know as readers. But what we see here is the compassion of Jesus, that he is not just able to help, but he is willing. Well, that's all for this time. We'll see you next time.